Field Marshal Douglas Haig, 1st Earl Haig, KT, GCB, GCVO, KCIE, ADC was a British senior officer during the First World War. He commanded the British Expeditionary Force from 1915 to the end of the war. He was commander during the Battle of the Somme, the battle with one of the highest casualties in British military history. The Third Battle of Ypres and the 100 Days Offensive, which led to the armistice in 1918. Although he had gained a reputation during the immediate post-war years, with his funeral becoming a day of national mourning, Haig has since the 1960s become an object of criticism for his leadership during the First World War. Biographer J. P. Harris writes that, "It seems impossible to make a case for Haig as one of history's great generals, most of the war even a good one. The British Army could have achieved equally good, or better, results, at a somewhat lower cost, after years predicting the imminent collapse of German military morale. When it was finally happening, he failed to recognize it." Military History magazine in 2007 called him World War I's worst general, called Butcher Haig, for the 2 million British casualties under his command. He became the model of class-based incompetent commanders unable to grasp modern tactics and technology. The Canadian War Museum comments, "His epic but costly offensives at the Somme and Passchendaele have become nearly synonymous with the carnage and futility of First World War battles." Major General Sir John Davidson, one of Haig's biographers, praised Haig's leadership, and since the 1980s some historians have argued that the public hatred in which Haig's name had come to be held failed to recognize the adoption of new tactics and technologies by forces under his command. The important role played by British forces in the Allied victory of 1918 and that high casualties were a consequence of the tactical and strategic realities of the time. Early life. Haig was born in a house on Charlotte Square, Edinburgh, but technically it was addressed as 19 Hope Street, the side street to the southwest. He was not an aristocrat by birth, or even landed gentry. His father, John Haig, an irascible alcoholic, was middle class, and as head of the family's successful Haig and Haig whiskey distillery had an income of £10,000 per year, an enormous amount at the time. His mother was from a gentry family fallen on straitened circumstances. Haig's education began in 1869 as a boarder at Mr. Bateson's school in Clifton Bank, St Andrews. Later in 1869, he switched to Edinburgh Collegiate School, and then Indiana 18971 to Orwell House, a preparatory school in Warwickshire. He then attended Clifton College. Both of Haig's parents died by the time he was 18. After a tour of the United States with his brother, Haig attended university, studying political economy, ancient history and French literature at Brasenose College, Oxford, 1880 to 1883. He devoted much of his time to socializing. He was a member of the Bullingdon Club, and equestrian sports. He was one of the best young horsemen at Oxford and quickly found his way into the university polo team. Although he passed his exams, he was not eligible for a degree as he had missed a term's residence due to sickness. And if he had stayed for longer he would have been above the then age limit to begin officer training in the Royal Military College at Sandhurst, which he entered in January 1884. Because he had been to university, Haig was considerably older than most of his class at Sandhurst, and was senior under officer, was awarded the Anson Sword, and passed out first in the Order of Merit. He was commissioned as a lieutenant into the 7th Hussars on the 7th of February 1885.